Welcome to a new daily top AskReddit video. Today's topic.
What's something most people don't realize will kill you in seconds? Large herbivores. They've evolved defenses to make large predators rethink their life choices. They will mess you up. Predators only kill you if they're hungry and think that you're worth the fight. Prey animals will try to kill you if they get scared. And it's real easy to scare a prey animal. All they do is eat in fear for their life. Till I'm a prey animal. I've lived in Alaska my whole life, and I'm way more wary of moose than of bear. Totally. I've had numerous encounters with big fat happy brown bears, and a few encounters with pissed off moose. One time a moose was between my anchor tossed on shore and my boat in the river. I had to untie the line and take off, returning later to get the anchor. Fucking terrifying. Moose are way more dangerous and unpredictable. I saw a moose charge the train in Talkeetna, for God's sake. I mean, the moose lost, but damn. Also, there is a crazy stat about moose causing the most drownings in Canada. People see them swimming across lakes, think it's a good idea to paddle up next to them, only to have the moose try to get into their boats. Don't go near a moose, especially in the water. One simple wrong move on the highway. And it doesn't even have to be your wrong move. This is the part everybody forgets. Thinking you're a good driver is not the same as taking a defensive driving course. It should be mandatory. Gonna say this, cars are deadly and we get in them so casually. The first driving lesson I got at 14 by my godmother, we're giving you keys to a weapon. Never forget that, and I haven't. Enclosed spaces. Don't assume it's the air you're used to down there. Specifically, caves. Sometimes it really isn't air down there, and sometimes the surface of the water isn't the surface either. Fuck going in caves. Never again. Edit. For everyone asking about the surface not being the surface, I am referring to a phenomenon known as a halocline, which occurs when waters of different densities mix and separate into different layers that form the illusion of the water's surface from below. Here's a Reddit post with suitable awesome, terrifying, images to illustrate it. https://www.reddit.com/r/oddly terrifying/comment/there_is_no_air_photos_halocline_is_edit2. There is a Magnus Archives episode about caving. It's EP15, Lost John's Cave. Listen at your own peril. It's good, but it will give you nightmares. I can't even watch movies about caves. So claustrophobic. Plus that one graphic that always pops up on Reddit of the guy who died upside down. Hey, that small invertebrate you found by the sea. Please leave it alone. But it has such pretty blue spots. Forbidden scrongle. Went snorkeling with a guide a long time ago in some coral reefs. When we saw a shark, the guide was like, nah, don't worry. They're chill. Then we saw a tiny purple jellyfish, and the guide was like, whatever you do, stay away from this thing, it'll paralyze you and then you'll drown. Edit, jellyfish, not mayonnaise. For some reason my Swedish brain had a translator malfunction. I see there are a lot of people confused by this comment. In English mayonnaise is jellyfish. Yep, French impressionists will do that. Falling from regular standing height. My very first high school boyfriend died this way. He climbed up on the hood of his car to fix something, slipped, fell and died from a broken neck. My only comfort is that it was an instantaneous death. Oh Jesus, that's terrifying. I'm so sorry. My mom fell forward holding some groceries, got her arms out to brace her fall and still broke her wrist and jaw in multiple places. Grandma broke her hip just falling out of bed. Falling is fucking dangerous. It's exactly why old people need to learn that you can't just give up on fitness. Breaking your hip is the worst. So that when you're over 60 and you'll basically never be able to live without regular help, and you're almost guaranteed to have a much shorter life. Water. People often do not respect water and how it can quickly kill you. Shallow running water. People think that the 3 inches of water flowing down a stream is no worry, it'll whip you off your feet and you'll smash a head on a rock in a heartbeat. It's unreal how strong it is. Fist fight. One wrong punch and you're in prison for killing a dude. Removed. That's how my friend, who had a brilliant future ahead of him, died. Bar fight gone wrong. I really wish they would stop showing that in movies. A blow to the head is not a convenient way to knock someone out without killing them. Okay, maybe it's convenient, but it lacks the without killing them part. Doesn't even have to be the ground or a punch. A bad stumble into, say, a table the wrong way could kill. Things under huge amounts of tension. Boat lines, garage door springs, various other cables or springs used in industrial settings. These can send you back to the character select in an instant. Capacitors. Maybe most people don't interact with them, but for those that do, DIY electronics repairs, a typical PSU in a home computer have capacitors that can kill you. Shocking, I know. A typical PSU in a home computer have capacitors that can kill you. Missing the crucial part, even when unplugged. When I was a kid, I took apart a giant CRT TV to pop a button back into the front panel. I felt so accomplished as I put it back together. It's only much later that I've come to understand just how close to dead I had been. Texting while driving. Or looking at your display, talking on the phone. Any distracted driving or brief look away. Knew a guy who leaned over to change a CD. Permanently paralyzed. I hate the screen displays. Just went car shopping last year and they showed me so many cars with that shit no matter how many times I said I didn't want it. I'm sure eventually it will be impossible to get a car without it but fuck. So I was trying to look up a DIY mixture to remove mold, mildew recently. A surprising number of sources, including an AI tool, suggested mixing bleach and vinegar. I saw Google was doing ITLDR, but that's terrifying WTF. The Google AI is having wild hallucinations and should not be trusted. Not sure if they've changed it recently, but when it first came out it was pulling answers from Reddit shitposts, like using glue instead of cheese for pizza. Carbon dioxide. People have died playing with dry ice. Decades ago, setting up for a party where the plan was to feature a punch bowl with dry ice fog. I went to an industrial dry ice plant nearby to buy a block of the stuff. Turned out they only sell in industrial quantities, but they said I could take as much as I wanted. So I filled my car hatchback with maybe 250 pounds of dry ice and drove off. Guy from the facility comes running after me, screaming, "Open your windows!" Exclamation mark quote. He may have saved my life. Wow, yeah, probably. I definitely would not have wanted to be in there sealed up. I've worked in restaurants for 16 years, the walk-in coolers occasionally break. One owner, years ago casually said, "Yeah, I sent Joseph to pick up dry ice to put in there to keep it cold." You did what? No. I just learned the other day that it's not safe to store. Some got shipped with food to my store to keep it cold and I wanted to save some to throw in water when my coworker got in for funsies. Looked up if it was safe and decided it was best to leave it melting outside and hope some was left when he got there lol. There's a show on Netflix where bartenders compete by making cocktails. Once in a while, they'll use dry ice for presentation. The smart ones keep it contained, separated, or removable. The less smart ones toss it directly in the drink, get DQ'd when the judges refuse to drink it, and usually get eliminated that round. The judges explained that even a small loose chunk can get caught in your throat, sublimate CO2 directly into your respiratory system, and suffocate you. That would be an exceedingly shitty way to go. Carbon monoxide. Well, minutes, but still, it's odorless and colorless. Most likely, you won't even know. Except for that wretched headache before you pass out. But if you're prone to headaches anyway, how are you going to tell the difference between, "Oh, fuck, migraine," and, "Holy shit, I'm dying"? And the weird notes to your landlord. Hitting your head against a wall. There's a pretty famous story about a basketball player who missed a shot, got annoyed and headbutted, if I remember correctly, the post the hoop is attached to. Didn't kill him but paralyzed him from the neck down for life. People do die from doing this. I've seen people get mad and headbutt something 100 times, but do it wrong once and that's it, you're dead. Edit, he made the shot but was called out, got a foul so it didn't count, he died 13 years later. Someone has replied with a video link, but, watch at your own discretion, it's not nice. My kids banged heads once while playing, came running to me, one was crying and he had a little goose egg on his head. Fast forward a few weeks, the bump wasn't going away. Take him to the pediatrician who is slightly puzzled and sends us to a pediatric neurosurgeon at the children's hospital. We have some scans, got a call to come back, which is never good news, and were told he had a rare sort of cancer-type lesion in his skull. A year of chemo, and he was fine. This was 9 years ago, he's still doing great, but his oncologist said that injury has been reported with this type of cancer-like lesion. The way my brain processes it is that the cells that went to fix the injury just didn't leave properly and instead continued to grow abnormally. It's very rare, but still, it happened. New parent fear unlocked. My brother just died from his body overresponding to a cancer that he didn't know he had when symptoms of the overresponse began. Neoplastic syndrome. It was horrific. Within 4 months, he went from a normal, healthy man to a man who looked to have advanced ALS to dead. Yesterday would have been his 69th birthday. Bob Saget died after bumping his head on a hotel shelf. Apparently it gave him a mild headache so he went to sleep and never woke up. Natasha Richardson fell skiing and hit her head but continued on with her day for some time before it became a crisis. She eventually was declared brain dead and was removed from life-supporting care. I remember getting into a solo accident as a kid, hit the floor with my head quite hard and immediately take a nap. Growing up, I realized that I'm very lucky with how most advice on people who got head trauma is to make sure they stay awake. Inhalants. I tried them once in high school. 2 weeks later, a kid at another school died from using them the first time. A couple weeks after that, I was offered them again. I told them fuck no and asked if they hadn't heard about the dead kid. They looked at me and seriously replied, "Oh yeah, it's okay. He used the wrong brand. He used the blue bottle instead of the purple bottle." Quote, "A kid from my high school was found dead in a field with 1.5 cans of Pam cooking spray. That's not from the inhalant though, that's from aerosolized cooking oil coating his lungs so he couldn't get any oxygen. That's horrifying." A kid from my junior high died the same way. He turned blue and collapsed and his friends ran because they were afraid they'd get in trouble instead of calling for help. Roughly 13 years ago, my GF at the time began getting sick mysteriously. So sick she even passed out behind the wheel of her car. Then, I found out she was huffing duster. I don't think I'll ever recover from the trauma that followed. Finding her in her car having a seizure. Covered in puke and shit. Finding her in her room having a seizure with the can frozen to her hand. She died a few months later. The duster damaged her heart. She was 24. Inhaling was one of the first ways my brother got high. He didn't OD but ended up in prison since he was drunk and held up a gas station with a high-powered rifle. He died 5 years later in his cell.